Hello everyone, welcome back to ZeroSpace Security. This is Akash and today we are finally on the last chapter of the Speak Easy Audiobook Series. First of all, thank you to everyone who supported this journey from part 1 to till now. This series was not just about communication skills, it was about confidence, mindset, personality, networking, leadership and becoming a better version of ourselves. And today in part 9, making communication skills fun, we are going to connect everything together in practical and realistic way. So in this series, we will talk about empowering versus draining energy, being smart without showing up, formal versus informal communication, building a long-term connection, confidence, emotional intelligence, and the mindset that makes communication natural instead of force. So sit back, relax, and let's finish this journey strong together. Let's begin. Let's play ground. Fun is a crucial part of communication skill. Without it, you will feel like you are pushing a car up the mountain. With it, you will feel like you are driving the car. This is added element that's often not discussed in many other communication books. Those other books only talk about strategies, formulas, and tricks. Which is needed. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I believe fun is the secret ingredient. That's why I have saved this part for last. This part discusses how humans naturally communicate, the joy factor, and why it is important. You will also be given a simple philosophy in order to speak easy and speak effectively. Thus far, throughout this book, we haven't been playing many games, we have been in business mode. Topics covered thus far including becoming the modern day polymath, creating an articulation chamber, building a primal brand, and much more. This chapter is going to give you the so what vibe. Why am I doing all the work for? What's in it for me? Envision a guy who loves watching movies, getting paid to watch movie. The man's name is Tom. His new job is watch movies and give some honest feedback to the director on how he liked the film. This is a win-win situation. The director wins because he gets honest feedback. Tom wins because he is getting a chance to wind down and watch the latest series. In this case, Tom views his newfound work as play. This is much different than his post jobs, where he had to show up, otherwise, he would get fired. In the movie, watching a job, he will also get fired if he doesn't show up. But the thought of having to show up did not even cross his mind. That's because he wants to be there. Speak easy about shifting the attitude from being at the job we hate to being at the job we love rather than feeling like we have to communicate otherwise we will get fired. It's more so mindset of it. Let's do this, not because I have to, because I want to. Communication skills creates values out of thin air, just like with magician pulls a rabbit out of the hat. However, with communication skills there is no illusion involved. Joy beats force. Have you ever been people say the same joke but the delivery was completely different? One person said it with the force while the other person said it with joy. Forceful speaking is when we force more on our words over the energy. Joyful speaking is when we are forced more on the energy over the words. As a person who was trained engineer in multiple fields, I came to notice that a lot of engineers hate that word energy, including me. I mean, what does that even mean? I did not like when someone said, I get a good vibes from him. That was too ambiguous for my young self. This was ironic because I had a job position which was centered around controlling energy for practical purposes. That's what engineers do. Guide the energy of electrical, mechanical, and natural resources for some sort of practical use. In the initial stage, I did not see a connection between engineering and communication skill. As years have on by, I have come to see it, to see the connection between the two disparate fields. It's about understanding the body more. Have you heard the quote, always listen to your gut? This is a popular quote that even a lot of the logical engineers agreed with. There are There were moments in their life when they had a dark story of ignoring their gut instinct and getting burned for it. I believe the quote, it good but not great. I would not say always listen to your gut. I would say always remain aware of the gut. Mainly because if everyone in society was listening to their gut whenever they felt like it, then we could risk living in a barbaric society. Stay aware and act on the instincts when the temperature has raised the intense highs. Which brings me to my next bone to pick with me. Always listen to your gut. That's a cost. Is it really always in the gut? Not from my experience. In terms of my experience, I feel sensation all around my body when something is off, particularly my ear, right side of the rib cage and the pelvis area. Most part of my body light up, but this sticks out more than other parts. What about you? Is your gut instinct only in the gut or other parts of your body? As you can tell, I have been speaking a lot about today in this section. Haven't brought up words too much. All the concepts regarding the body that I have been bringing up has dealt with energy. You can be the most logical person in the world, but if you don't see the role for energy at all in communication, then you are bringing a knife to a gunfight. Energy is understood when the body is understood. Take a time to feel the random sensation that go on throughout your body. Did you know that when you have a thought, there is a micro change that generate in the body? What kind of changes are you feeling? Compare the difference in body feeling from thinking of thoughts or something you are grateful for versus or getting your heart broken. Imagery is converted into picture. In Eastern drama, there is known as the rasa, the juice, otherwise the essence. Joy is factored in when energy is given important over the words alone. See which moment from you like make you feel light. So, is it seeing a body laugh? What about that cute kitten? Maybe it you holding a book that you wrote. The light feeling is what others want to feel as well. They may not be able to articulate it, but that desire is always there. Factor in joy when speaking. If you think you are being too serious, then you probably are. Tune out of your head and into your body. Feel the micro changes. Stop now, lick your lips. Now bring attention to your lips. Do you notice the heightened awareness around your lips that you are able to trigger at will? This will show you that you can guide your awareness to different parts of your body and information will be gathered where you are place your awareness on. Energy goes where attention follows. Factor in joy for communication. Find out what makes you feel light so it's easier to spot what makes someone else feel light. Formal versus informal. Raise your hand, ask for permission to use the restroom, sit down. Fast forward. You are hired, you are fired. Sure you can take off work day. As a society scales, there are systems which are required. Within the systems are rules and laws that lead to formal behavior. A large part of the communication skills that we have been taught lead with formal paradigm. Around 2013, I had a few fraternity brothers and two guest workers, speakers for an event. We get done setting up for the event early, so we had some time to kill. It was time to run a little social experiment. For one of the speaker, we were going to have or him deliver a speech on professionalism at work in very monotonous voice. The content was going to be rich, but the delivery was going to be bland. For the next speaker, we were going to have him say his name in as many different tonalities as he could think of. Each speaker had 4 to 5 minutes to talk. Once their talks were done, I had the fraternity brothers vote to see who they liked better. A staggering 14 out of 14 said they liked the speaker who just kept saying their name repeatedly. This by no means implies that you should go to speech parroting away from your name, nor does this imply that content of speech does not have enough power to override a flat delivery. What it does imply is that informal is shortcut, a cheat code of the connection in the human brain. The average human mind is busy. It can just process so much information. That's why generalizing is a thing. If the brain had a nonce take every topic out there, all it would be doing is thinking all day. That's why generalization give a high overview of the subject. Then the processor of the mind is capable of being more nonce as need to by the doing further research. Informal is beautiful because it allows other person to cut back on other thinking faculties and just relax. Allowing someone to let their guard down like that puts them in a state of peace, implying rapport. Most presidential candidates speak in an extremely simple fashion, no complexity in their game for the reason they want to build that rapport. When in doubt, choose informal over formal. Even with people who think informal may not work with. Speak easy is about being audacious. Remember, need to take risk. I had this form of senior manager a couple of years ago named ED. He would strike he would strike fear in other people's hearts. A tall, heavy man with thick Brooklyn accent. People in Florida are chill for the most part. Eddie Brooklyn in your face. Personality would intimidate a lot of people. One day, Eddie invites me to his office to see how I am liking my position. It was recommended that junior position meet up with senior position every now and then. Overall, the conversation was going very formal. You could even say very dry. As our meeting was wrapping up, I thought it was the perfect time to be audacious. Not too audacious, just a little. I decided to bring up his personal life. How has your family been adjust to Florida? Eddie, I asked. Eddie wanted to meet my boldness with even more boldness of his own. He responded back with, "Not good. My son hates Florida and hates me even more for bringing him here." I ended up separating his from girlfriend of 6 years. Eddie was waiting to open up to someone. None of others coworker would ask about his personal life because he was a man of a power. They opted to be formal around him. Eddie just wanted to be informal. Most people of power become people of power because they wanted freedom. That freedom has a informality powering its turbans. Now, granted, I could have failed miserably, and Eddie could have said, "What's it to you how my family is? Focus on work." That would have been completely fine. He would have made his comment, and I would have gone about my day. Fortunately, it did work out. Informality should be the go-to whenever you are in a doubt. People just want to have a fun and feel light. Formal behaviors will rarely give them that feeling. Speak easy philosophy. Create like an artist. Think like an engineer. Communicate like a comedian. These three lines have been chosen very specially. Each line builds philosophy of the speak easy mindset. Creating like an artist is all about being prolific. Quantity versus quality is a debate not worth having. In practical world, quantity leads to quality. Create a profile so you can see what you do well, what you can improve, eliminate the quirks, and eventually get quality. Create what? You may be thinking anything. Create opportunities, social bonds, personalized network, something. The state of being in creation mode makes you an interesting person. An interesting person has ideas worth sharing in an articulate manner. Thinking like an engineer is always respecting the role of logic in this world. It's easy to clone logic when you start discovering how to be in tune with energy. Logic versus energy is an idiotic debate, just like quantity versus quality. Both are needed. An engineer does not just blindly believe something because someone else told them to. The question, problem solve, and probe. This sort of mindset allows them to build a conviction when they stand for the truth. They are capable of being assertive without coming off as a jerk. They can disagree without making an enemy in the process. To communicate like a comedian means to value humor. Don't you love laughing? Wouldn't it be amazing if you could make someone laugh at will? You can. Not everyone, but can make someone laugh. If you have made five people who did not know each other laugh, then congratulations. You can consider yourself a funny guy. The guys, the laugh generated were no accident. Embrace the role that humor plays in a joy and the role joy plays in communication. These three lines allows you to speak easy with confidence, create like an artist, think like an engineer, communicate like a comedian for life. Empowering or draining. In a complex system, there are two words you should be familiar with: synergy versus dysergy. Synergy is when the sum of all parts is greater than the individual parts. Dysergy is the opposite. Synergy is all about empowering, dysergy is all about draining. If you ever wonder how someone decides whether they like or you are not, this is how. They get their holistic experience with you and determine whether you are empowering them or draining them. That's it. You may be like, you are wrong. You are telling me that they are not individually recalling every memory of the kind stuff I did for them, bringing up notes of our memories and going super specific. Correct. They are getting the general vibe for whether you empower them or drain them. This may seems like a daunting insight for someone, a part you may be like, then why would I have ever go with extra mile for the someone? That's beyond the point. You can still do your day-to-day activities, but nowadays, this insight of empowering or draining should build a holistic view of grand picture. Rather than sweeting each other small details, it's more about, are my behaviors leading them to feel good or not? There was this one friend of mine who ended up taking these girls out of the date. Apparently, it was a date from hell. He showed up 15 minutes late because of a traffic. Eventually, him and girl ended up going to Starbucks to get coffee before the movie. They decided to sit outside with their drinks under the umbrellas. In a few moments, they notice it starts raining uncontrollably. This caused the two to get soaked despite being under the umbrella. Due to the weather, they remain under the umbrella, waiting for the rain to die down. This caused them to be 30 minutes late to the movie. During the movie, they were drenched and freezing. Overall, the entire experience seems awful. Somehow, my friend was able to turn it into positive scenario. As the night ended, he was like, Zoya, you are a weird one. This date, you are forcefully made the roads closed. Summon your weather power to make it rain and even made us late. What other what other power are you using to test whether I like you or not? He framed this date from hell as a story, a narrative which changed the perception of what the two had just went through. Zoya started jiggling and associated an empowering energy to this event. Overall, all the small mistakes were wiped out instantaneously due to the association that was created. When looking to be articulate, always ask yourself, is my behavior empowering or draining others? Be simple, play dumb. Dumbing down may seem like a tall order for someone who is smart. It should not be. Dumbing down means to simplify the message. Truly intelligent people don't need to constantly make others aware of how smart they are. It's because intelligence and communication are a lot like searching for things on a Google. If I go on a Google looking for a recipe for a kitchen biryani, then that's what I expect to be outputted in the search engine. Imagine if Google gets caught with it and gives other recipes in addition to the kitchen biryani. Noodles, meatloaf, shepherd pie, etc. Great, Google. I'm happy you have all this other information, but please simplify for me. Give me the output that initially requested. Communication works a lot like that. Give people their chicken biryani rather than all the unneeded recipes. It's tough to do this when you are a smart individual. You have been working so hard to build yourself and create your value. Every last bit of you wants to share how smart you are with others. Is that so wrong? It's not wrong. However, it's not strategic either. Did you know people love breaking the news to other people? They want to be the first to share an insight with someone else. You know how annoying it is when they finally have some great information locked and loaded to share, and the other person they want to share it with is like, I already heard that. Oh, it's very annoying. On other hand, what the person who actually did hear that information to do? Act like they did not hear. Every now and then, yes. Pretend like you did not hear the news. Let them feel the empowering emotions, then allow them to attach those empowering feelings to you. There, you just became more charismatic by showing restraint and barely saying a word. That restraint is what needed a play dom. You are not acting like a jackass by any means, just not being pomp-ups either. Great communicators are a borderline genius not only due to their book smart, but their application of the street smarts. Both are required. My philosophy is never get fancy with it. Don't use 50 words when you could have used 5. Don't use high school words when you could have used kindergarten words. Don't sound smarter than you need to. Completeness speak for itself. Allow your ideas to be packaged with utter simplicity and other cannot help but listen to you. Putting it all together, in this section, we talk about the importance of joy when it comes to communication. Not only is joy something that would be nice to have, but it's also fundamental force that add colors to more movement. To get in tune with the energy of joy, it's wise to start feeling the sensation of your body. No one should be able to read our body language better than ourselves. Through the process of understanding how our body works, we engage deeper understanding of communication. The understanding goes beyond the words to energy. This is when formal versus informal can be understood. The ability to spot the difference between the two can allow us to speak in an informal way. Informal is ingrained, formality is taught. Get back to the basics. When in a doubt, just ask yourself if you could be a more informal, this will give a level of composure. Understand that all humans are predominantly focusing with simple paradigm. When evaluating others, they judge. Is the other person empowering or draining? When assigning how well you are doing in terms of communication, rather than asking yourself tons of questions, just ask yourself, am I being empowering or draining? The target of being empowering makes the concept of being smart and playing dumb come to be, life. Don't be dumb like dummy. Be dumb in terms of simplicity. Rarely say more than you need to just for the sake of sounding smart. Chances are that you are sounding dumb, and this time not the good kind. All that sets up for the simple philosophy regarding Speak Easy. Create like an artist, think like an engineer, communicate like a comedian. Put it all together, you are meant to communicate from birth to death. Might as well unleash your child like spirit in an adult like body. So here we are completing this chapter. Finally, the journey that never ends. Speak easy is a mindset and behavior at same time who said getting your message out there had to be difficult. At this stage of your life, you maybe consider yourself 10 steps behind with how you articulate your points with others. Maybe you are the neighborhood nice guy, the mumbling moron with stirring Sam. I'm just joking. Understand that the principles covered in this book can help you no matter what walk of a life you are from. Good people try to improve 10% at a time. Great people try to improve 1% at a time. This is a lifelong process, a smooth transition from mountain peak to the eternal path mindset. Words have the ability to mold the mind. and build influence. The voice has the ability to color words and deepen perception. A fluid body language combine the words and voice into a brand new package. A lot of great journey are begin by asking if they can do it, why not to me? Initially, this question seems tough to ask because it can bring up all hole in our own game. In the long run, these questions engages curiosity and introspection skills at the same time. You don't want to sit on the question too long though. Otherwise, you go from trying to cooperate with others to trying to compete with others. Competition mindset was a great for the industrial age. For certain fields, it's still great, like in the field of sports. However, in the information age where the world is connected, cooperation wins, learn to be inspired by others so you can see what they have. Did you know a lot of the people who are jealous of you too by asking the question, why them and not me? We can snap out of the rat race of the mind. There are great communicators all around who you have different style of to their game. Some are hilarious, others speaks in a way where everyone listens with intrigue. Others barely say words, they just let their body do the talking. Allow yourself to be sponge. Street Smarts is a built by turning your life and environment into the classroom and learning daily. Growth mode always clean communications skills to fall out. Much love for all the nerds, dogs, and geeks to out there. But we are playing a different game. The game of having a sharp intellect, a prolific creating style, and warm delivery. These three variables create a communicator who is articulate, assertive, and audacious. All these three A's to guide your life. All these to be tools that guide the mind back on track when it is drifted too far into no man land. Just like a lot of people who started their first business or become curious about money. I had the book. I have read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert. Not going to lie, but first two encounters I had with that brand was not positive. The first time I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I believe I was in my early 20s. I did not have much business experience. I read that book mainly from the lens of college student. As a guy who was looking for a get rich quick scheme, I did not see the exact A to Z step in this book. Thought it was just story, a few pages. I stopped reading. A couple of years later, I had an acquaintance who asked me if I wanted to go to one of Rich Dad seminars. When he said the title of the seminar, I immediately recalled the Robert character from few years early. Although I was not a fan of the book, I still thought it would be a cool to meet them. By the time we go to event, there was another guy who was hosting the event with the title of Rich Dad Poor Dad on the label. What the heck? What was a robot? Strike two, Robert, strike two. I would be very until I give his content a chance again. Roughly around 2018, I decided to give his Rich Dad Poor Dad book on more time. This time I viewed it from the lens of an entrepreneur. I love the book. From the simplicity to the storytelling to the mind-bending insight regarding money. I loved his content, instantly become a fan. For the next few months, I read all his books, every one of them. I notice his repeats his main points a lot in each of his books. One of the points is more so question. He asks in dismay. How come we are never taught about money growing up? Fantastic question. The more I have worked on the Money Talk brand, I have a similar question. How come we never taught practical communication skills growing up? Sure, we learn about grammar, punctuations, and spelling, but where is the information on in-depth public speaking principles, how to build a friend, how to manage conflict, etc. That was one of the driving force regarding this book to demystify this world of communication, to no longer have it be a field that only a certain segment of people can understand. Instead, allow it to be delivered to the common man and woman in simple, yet effective language, no getting cut with it. There are two kinds of uncertainty, the good kind and bad kind. Good uncertainty is when you are challenging yourself to unlock new levels to you. Bad uncertainty is when you lack proper information and create an unconfident version of yourself. This book was a build more good uncertainty and melt away and bad uncertainty. To put the niceness to sleep and awaken the kind person, the person who has an attractive personality with a polymath mind and curiosity for life. Articulate, always be clear, assertive, stand up for the truth, audacious, break barriers, create new limits and break those too. Good communications are done a dozen. Great communicators are one in a million. Which route are you going to choose? Speak easy and have a blast. So that's the done of the Armani book. I mean Speak Easy book. So yeah, last things remain. So yeah, we can go for that as well afterward. I appreciate you for completing this entire book. Hope you enjoyed it. It's normally the intention of writing styles to keep things easy. I used to hate getting confused by books growing up. There was a period of my life when I could strictly stick to fiction books because fictions was easier to read. As I got older, I discovered non-fiction authors who wrote in the simple way that resonated with me. I decided if I was ever able to improve my writing skills, that I would also share specific knowledge in clarified manner. Hope you understood every word. If you are new to the Almani brand, welcome. If you are one of your routine listeners, watchers, or readers, welcome back. For more updates inside Future Books Release blog, so Almani Talks is on YouTube. And so, last but not least, if you enjoyed the book, it would help me ton if you could leave an honest review. Thank you. I appreciate best wishes. So, and with that, we officially complete the Speak Easy audiobook series. Honestly, this journey taught me or us that communication is not about speaking more. It's about understanding people, controlling emotions, building confidence, and creating meaningful connection. If you watch this series till the end, I respect to you seriously. That already shows that you want to improve yourself, and that mindset alone will take you far in life. In this series, we help you even a little. It maybe help you even a little. Make sure to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to ZeroSpace Security for more content around cybersecurity, self-growth, communication, and awareness. Comment below which part of the series was your favorite. Thank you again for being a part of this series. This is Akash signing off. Stay aware, stay secure, keep growing. See you in the next audiobook. So have a great one.